What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a Surviving Bedrock series, and the Village and Pillage update has finally come out. I was not expecting it to come out this soon. I thought it was going to be a week or so after the Java Edition update came out. And yeah, it's just dropped on the exact same day. It was mid-afternoonish, and it was yesterday for me they actually dropped. So I'm going to see if I get this video out to you guys today, depending on how far we get with it. And there's quite a few new bits of content that I want to cover in this, including the new blocks which we've got lined up here. I'm not 100% sure if that's all of the new blocks added. I've not actually gone through the change logs to see if there's any others. I think I've gone through the lectern. We've got the composter as well. What do we need for that? We need some slabs, don't we? So let's do some of you, and then make a composter as well. Anything else new that I'm missing? Obviously this is only showing me stuff that I've got items in my inventory to be able to craft if I grab a few more items, so quickly scroll through this. I saw that they made a crafting recipe for leather horse armor. I'm not sure when that was added, and you can also dye that, which I think is really good. For sort of like doing your own customization on a horse, so then you don't have to have the same coloured armor as everyone else, which I think is really good. I can't see any other particularly new blocks to cover. But yeah, we've got a few of these to go through now. I know that the composter you can fill with, was it crops? And then it will turn into, can you use rotten flesh? I don't know. Let's find that out as well. Have we got any crops? We've got a bunch of wheat. I've got gravel clogging up my system at the moment. So each time I take something out, gravel's going into its place because our gravel chest is completely full. Let me put some of you in there. That should be fine. They've also sorted out the sort of inventory lag when you've got this thing open, so it doesn't take 20 minutes to open even when you've got shulker boxes in your inventory. So let's just give that a go, because that's like one of the biggest, better changes that I've seen in this changelog. See, so your inventory is still opening pretty sharpish, even with 3 shulker boxes in the inventory, which is an absolute godsend, because it was becoming a little bit murderous and extremely tedious. I've got to the habit of making sure I've got spots on my inventory bar, my hotbar, in order to put my shulker boxes, so that way I wouldn't have to open my inventory to move them around, and then I just put them straight on the ground. Yeah, so fun times with that one. Luckily that's been fixed, so you can't just access the composter, has no UI, so we can fill the composter with this, with like crops, and then apparently that turns into bone meal. Yeah, so how many crops is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Is that 15 crops for 1 piece of bone meal? That doesn't seem worth it to me. I don't know why that should be a thing, but I know that when you place this next to a normal villager without a trade, it will turn into a farmer. We got the barrel, which is an extremely good tool, well, not tool, but a good item. So if you have a solid block above a barrel, you can still open it. It sort of acts in the same similar sense of shulker. I don't think it knocks you back like a shulker though, does it? Has it got an animation when you open it? If we get an angle, I can't tell. I think it does. Alright, sorry about that quick cut, guys. I actually had someone knocking on my door trying to get access to the upstairs property, and I've not got access, so I feel sorry for him. He's obviously got some work to do, but he decided to disturb my recording, so I'm not that sorry. So as we're going on, the barrel, I think it's got an animation when you open it. I think it just sort of goes black as though you're opening the top of it, but it's the same inventory space as a single chest. And it's a very good alternative look-wise to have instead of chests, which I think is definitely going to come in handy. Probably for like taverns or olden style ship builds would be pretty good having that on there. Alright, let's break this block because we want them back. And then we've got the stone cutter, which is an alternative way of getting half slabs and different types of stone, like we just put standard stone there and we get a whole variation, so you don't have to get half slabs and then turn the half slabs into chiseled. We could just go and grab 1-for-1 trade for the chisel, which is extremely handy. And then you've got the stone bricks and smooth stone and all of that goodness. So that's actually extremely handy. I may keep one of them in my, my utilities box in my ender chest. Utilities? Yes, utilities. And then we have the Grindstone, which is an extremely handy little tool. So I think you can actually take enchants off of items and then get XP for it. So if we get a book, actually, you know what? Let's grab a couple of books. I want to test out a couple of little things of this, because I know that if an item's got multiple enchants, I'm not too sure if you get to pick which one comes off of it. Is that not a thing that we can do? So, can't do that. We can put it in there. So how is it you get... Oh, does it have to be a book and quill? Is that a thing? Well, luckily we got a book and quill here as well. So, let's see if you can go. No. Repair and disenchant. You know what, I don't really mind getting fortune 3 off of this. But you get the XP from it. I'm not too sure how you get... Yeah, I don't know what's happening with this now. Yeah, no idea. I know that you can get enchants off of it somehow. I'm not 100% sure. That's our morning time alarm again. But I'm sure that I'll figure that out before the end of the episode. I'll definitely come back to that one. We've got the fetcher table, no UI yet. We've got the blacksmith table, no UI. They're meant to be coming in later dates. And then we've got the campfire, which doesn't look too impressive indoors because the smoke's just getting trapped on there. You do take tick damage like on the magma blocks. And you can also cook food, I do believe. We can put this stuff back in there because we're not going to need that on us. And then we can get some pork chops on our hotbar. And you can cook, is it just up to 4? Yes, I do believe it's up to 4, and then once they're cooked they actually just pop off. But it's a nice little addition to have as like a... I think this is more a cosmetic than a functionality item. Obviously it's got a function and it can be useful for doing like outdoorsy side builds that you would like a campfire, and I think the smoke particle effect is definitely going to be a big seller on this item. There we go, and they've all popped up, and ouch. I think they need to pop up a little bit further away from the actual campfire, otherwise you're going to end up getting burnt every single time. What else are we missing? I know that there's 2 more items, I think it's furnace type items, if I remember correctly, so let's just make a couple of furnaces. What do we need? We need a smokehouse, we need logs, iron and smooth stone. I just grab some normal stone, grab some logs, grab some iron, and we're gonna need to smelt some of these guys, because this is how you have to get smooth stone now. It's just a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. We still got 2 of our cheaty water blocks that I just threw in here. I think they're the only 2 in this world because you can't actually get hold of them anymore. You know, it's going to take a second or 2, so let's just make one of these smokers. So we've got the smoker. No, that is just a straight up furnace. I thought, what the heck was going on there? Oh, I do like the look of the smoker actually. I think a lot of these blocks are going to have very big cosmetic influences on interior builds, because when it came to the interior sort of side of things, Minecraft was definitely lacking the sort of components that actually put some of the rooms together. You was very limited on what you could sort of base a room around. So we've got a blast furnace as well. Let's see what this guy looks like. Oh, that looks like very, very industrial. This looks like a sort of modern oven type deal. And I know that each one has its functionality. One cooks ores a lot quicker than standard, and then the other one cooks food. You can't actually put the opposite items in the opposite furnaces, so you can't put food. Did I take out cooked food then? More food. I took out cooked food, yeah. Well, I did. yeah, you can't put like ores in the smoker, and you can't put food in the blast furnace, I want to say. Let's grab some coal for fuel. And let's do this. So we've got the blast furnace, which is ores. And that is definitely quicker than a standard furnace, which is good. Obviously not so good in this sort of late game. Oh, and we've got an achievement. Disenchanted, okay. And yeah, the smoker actually cooks food a lot quicker. So we may have builds, and that is also the achievement coming through on my phone if you heard that, so I do apologise. What happens is that everything is sort of linked to my Xbox Live account. When I get an achievement, it not only comes up on the Xbox, it sends a notification to my phone and then also to my PC, because that's linked into my Xbox Live, which is always fun. But the PC you shouldn't really hear because it's in the background and it's not being recorded. Yeah, so they're all pretty good, and I definitely think they're going to become in quite handy on the internal sort of decorating. I do like the stone cutter. That's going to be quite handy in getting... Can you re-change blocks? No, you can't. And I don't think it works for anything like wood. Do you reckon they're going to be bringing in like a lumberjack sawmill station for doing like the wood pieces? Because that would be really good. So getting like wood half slabs, if you throw in like an oak log and it gives you like the bark block. The bark block? Yeah. The stripped oak logs, the planks, half slabs, stairs, fences. That would be really handy if they managed to do that. But I don't think it's going to be a thing anytime soon. That actually sounds like it would have more functionality than what the current one does have. Can we make some room? You know what? I'm just doing this all backwards, aren't I? The whole point I was doing that is because we haven't got a spot saved for the chiseled. But we can do that, and then we can do all of this good stuff. Throw all of this in here. And then we can get to the sort of goodness that this update actually did bring. This is just all like the little side bits and pieces. I'm surprised that they've released so much in one update. But the main attraction of this update is the village and pillagers. Now, when I first came on, I spent the better part of about 2, maybe 3 hours up here trying to figure out how this whole system works. Now, the villagers now need a bed, and they also need a workstation. So what I've done is I've placed pretty much turns everywhere to turn most of them into librarians. And then I don't know if the loom does anything to any of them, but I did have a cleric, luckily. And so we've got one of him in here. I don't know what his block is. I need to really look up like what block does what. But this guy, I don't think he's getting a trade, and I have no idea why. I think he's just bugged. But we've got a couple of farmers, a bunch of librarians. We've got a blacksmith over here, or a toolsmith, and then I think we've got a stonemason. This is the guy that I was doing trading with. Now, although they need access to their workstation to apparently reset their trades, I don't think that's the case completely. I thought that they needed to sleep as well, which I definitely know isn't the case, because his trades reset probably every 10 to 20 minutes. I know that every day cycle, his one's definitely... Oh my god, the noises of these workstations are a little bit insane. And then we've got a Fletcher over here as well. But yeah, we've got all of our librarians. I need to redo all of their trades. Some of them are fully unlocked, and I'm not too sure about their trades. And I do know that each one isn't linked to the workstation directly in front of them, which is a little bit annoying. Because, as you can see, this guy's trade isn't disappearing. But I'm fairly sure one of these other guys' ones will disappear. Can you get back in your hole? Thank you. And I took them all out of their minecarts just so that they could move around in case they did need access to their workstation. But I think a lot more research on that is going to be necessary for me to fully understand how the whole workstation things apply. Because I'm also not sure if some of them were influenced from the loom or anything that I've got below. But I do know that as soon as I came on, these guys in here kept on breeding. Now I have placed beds all around the back, and by doing that we're getting iron golems, and for some reason the iron golem that spawns in here is automatically aggressive towards me. See, I don't know why that is, but he is, and ouch. So I've been having to take these guys out of my bow, but then the ones that spawn on the outside for some reason are not aggressive towards me. And it's not like I've hurt any of the villagers, but yeah, it just seems to be a thing. And this guy in here spawns quite regularly, and that's even though we've got 2 stuck on the outside. So if we just head on round over here, we did have 2 stuck in the windows over here, and we've got a wandering trader. Yeah, apparently these guys are a thing now. So can we see what you've got to offer? Glowstone, not a bad trade. Sea pickle. So I'm assuming that, oh, red sand, that's pretty good. Acacia, that's good. I'm assuming that if you're having trouble finding resources from different biomes, finding one of these guys nearby would probably be pretty handy. Gunpowder is definitely going to be handy on the Bedrock edition, but the fact that you can't trade large quantities with the villagers before they lock out a trade for the day is a little bit annoying, because you can't just go and spend an hour or 2 hours trading and unlocking all the trades and whatnot, and then trading another item to reset all the trades. Because what I was learning with the Stonemason, I was trading for it with him for around about half hour, 40 minutes. And yeah, after you sort of lock them all out, they sort of just stay locked out until it's usually about 5 or 10 minutes before he either does something on his workstation or the night and day cycle resets him. And you couldn't get a large quantity of items. Like, I think I was able to do a maximum of 8 buy-in of the bricks and then selling 8 of the clay, and then the price for the clay would go up, but not by an astronomical amount, by about 2 or 4. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure on them, but I have done a little bit of testings in my test world regarding the iron farms. And what we're going to do is head on over there. I'm going to get the resources to actually try to do a fix for it now. So yeah, I guess I'll catch you over there. Alright then guys, so we're over here at our grid iron farm. Now, I'm not too sure if I showed you the little AFK platforms that I built, but I built one in each direction for our 2 AFK players for when I'm over here, and I choose to do an AFK session overnight. I've done a bunch of it before this update came out, so we have actually got a massive stockpile of iron. If it is somewhere in here. So we've got a bunch of iron blocks and we've got 1 beacon. We really need to get our beacon game back on point, because we need beacons desperately. I'm having to move that one around everywhere I go, which is a little bit of a pain, but we have got enough iron to cover us for a fair few beacons anyhow. And as you can see, all of these guys are pretty much empty. I did organise it and I put all of our poppies at the end here. So what we want to do is actually go around and I love the parrots. I need to bring some parrots. You know what I really want to do is actually make a full-on size zoo for all the different creatures in Minecraft, which should be a fun project in the future. But I'm now looking for, what am I looking for? Just one random piece of wood, please. And then we can do one of them, and then we'll do one of these. And then we want to just quickly do a fix for the iron farms. Now, I have tested it in my test world, and if you just replace the doors with beds, but the bad point about this on my farm is, oh crap. The bad point about this on my farm is what I was trying to say, is that the villagers can only recognise the beds. I think it's up to like 15 blocks away, which means the beds that I put on this side of the farm aren't going to be recognised by the villagers over on this side, which is highly unfortunate. So just take away all of these doors. So what I can show you is that if we get our crafting bench on us, get some wood, and then we can make a bunch of beds. That will do for a second. I need to get some room, you know what, let me get rid of you for a sec. And then pick you back up, thank you. And then we get our beds on us. So, if we place a bed over here, you shouldn't actually see the green sparkle effect. Yeah, see, so you don't get the sparkle effect on that bed, but if we place one over here near these guys, sparkles, which means when we place all of our beds down, half of them aren't going to be recognised, so the centre point of the farm isn't going to be actually the centre, it's going to be over here. But luckily, the iron golems, if they do spawn anywhere else, will make their way towards the centre of the village, and we've got our water trays down there, is what I think I was trying to say. We've got our water trays down below to actually catch any of the iron golems, should they spawn outside of the farm itself. But all of these ones seem to get sparkles. Sparkles? No, yep, that one's got sparkles. How about, let's go. We want these to be sort of symmetrical. We should have really done them all in the same direction. Sparkles? Yeah, so from this point onwards we can get the sparkles, but anything other than that we are out of luck. I haven't got any more beds on me. Oh, this is going to be tedious, isn't it? The fact that beds don't stack and we're having to replace everything with beds is going to be a bit of a nightmare. So let's do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around to all of the farms, replace them all with beds, but I'm probably going to pick these ones back up and place them all the same direction, because otherwise it's going to really bug me. It's not a big issue for you guys, but it will definitely be a big issue for me, so I'm probably going to do them all going and facing clockwise actually. So yeah, I'm going to crack on and get all of this done, and I'll bring you back hopefully with some iron golems spawning. So I managed to get, I think, like 4 or 5 of them done. 1, 2, 3, and then half of number 4. I did not bring nearly enough wool to actually get them all done, unfortunately, and I could not be asked to trek all the way back to base to get the wool in order to do this. But what I am noticing with the ones that we have got done is that there are a lot of cats spawning, so we're getting some string in our system now. So I'm sure AFK in here for a bit will probably get us enough string to start making the wool for beds, but I've got more than enough wool back at base. The only issue is I've not got a lot of orange, and I wanted the beds to sort of match the build style that we've got over here. So yes, we should start getting some iron in our system from the ones that we have got done though. So that would be, which direction? Over here? Yeah, so this sort of area here, we should be getting iron golems spawning. And I've double tested it, or double checked, or triple checked it in my test world with the iron farm, the quad iron farm. And the iron golems are spawning fine, as long as the villagers are spread out and they are spawning in the centre. These ones, it wouldn't surprise me if they spawn around the edges, but they should actually walk to the centre. Fingers crossed there. But we're not going to hang about here to find out. I'm probably going to do a fix for this, a proper one. Move all the villagers so then they're separated on both sides of each farm, just so that all of the beds are recognised and the centre of the village is actually lined up correctly. But I'm not 100% sure if the distances between villages and the way it's worked out is going to be the same. So I have no idea if this village is now being combined with this one, because the radius of the village, of how far it stretches out, may be overlapping. I don't think that's going to be an issue, considering that the villagers can only recognise beds within about 15 blocks of them. Yeah, so, and there's no villagers of this village able to recognise any of the beds of this one, which is a good thing. I'm fairly sure that that means that they are not going to be recognised in these. These guys shouldn't be recognised in them beds, which means the villagers should be separate. Fingers crossed, question mark. Yeah, so that's it for over here anyway, until we get some more wool for the fix. But one good thing about the iron farms is that they're now being turned into cat farms, so we are definitely going to be getting string in our system, and some cooked pork chops as well by the looks of it, because pigs are now wandering in. And let's just go and throw a bunch of this garbage back away. What I actually want to do is fly around the area, because, this area isn't being fully explored. I've not actually gone flying around too much in this area. Can we get some more rockets on us though? It may take a little bit of flying about. Do that. So what I want to do, if my words will come out, it's pretty early for me to be recording, to be honest with you. I usually record in the evenings. It's like probably about 10 or 11 in the morning, and I've only been awake for a few hours, so I'm not exactly 100% with it. I need to wake up a little bit, have another cup of coffee. Have we got any iron in yet? Still no iron from them 3 farms, but because they're on the corner, they're probably not loaded from where we are here, which is how comes I've got our 2 little AFK platforms. And now I can't even remember which side it was. Yeah, so what I was going to say is, what I want to do is fly around, try to find a village that has not been generated before, and hopefully find one of the pillager outposts near one. Oh, and instantly land on the floor. Awesome. Can we get up? Oh. Come on, with the vines stopping me. And there goes that last firework of that patch. There we go. And we're away. So yeah, I'm going to fly around, see if I can't find a village that's not yet been generated, and hopefully find a pillager outpost to trigger a raid.